Well, good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. It is right at Matt. You're the man. It's right at 6 o'clock. This is our evening session with Chat with the Chief. Matt's with me again. He was with me this afternoon. I was just telling him that I just got a call from a friend of mine who was. I heard you reference me on Chat with the Chief. I said I never Matt. I said I never said your name, and she goes, well, I actually like college, and I'm happy now. So I'm like, well, good. So. But I enjoyed the phone call, enjoyed hearing from her, and that was pretty cool. So, well, good evening, everyone. Like I said, this is our Chat with the Chief for the month of July. Today is July 15th, right? We are halfway through the month, which means we're really halfway through the summer, right? June, halfway through July. We'll finish up July and then August. And once we get into August, it's really kind of like back to school events and gearing up. I heard in our staff meeting on Monday, yesterday, or no, it was last Monday, the Monday before. I actually heard that the first high school football game, I think, is set for August 29th. So excited for that. Man, I cannot believe how fast the summer's gone. But we've been blessed. We've had a really good summer. I was actually looking at crime numbers and data points today, where we're at compared to where we were at this time last year. We'll talk about some of that this evening. But what I am going to ask anyone who's logged on, if you would let us know, is the picture coming through okay and is the sound coming through okay? We did some different things with the lighting, all the professionals in here, so it looks a little different. But yeah, but I also want to make sure that we're coming through audio. Our sound is okay as well. So we had a really good afternoon session. I felt we had some good conversation. Some people on that I've talked to before, and then some that I haven't. We just talked about kind of where the department has been, what's currently going on, and what's coming up around the corner in the future. We'll talk a little bit about our staffing, how we're doing there with the recruit classes that are in, and the class that will start in October. October, right? We'll have one graduate in October and one start. So we'll talk a little bit about where our vacancies are at. Talk about some summer initiatives, and kind of some things that we are looking at. I want to share with you, and some new technology that we have. We've already talked a little bit in past sessions about what we're doing this summer, but I want to reiterate some of those things, all the camps that we're having. So that I think that's important. We've got a big retirement coming up this Friday. I want to make sure I say it right. I am looking forward to attending, but I hate to see the individual go, but I understand his reasons. And he's been here a long time, done a lot with this community and this department. And I'm very, very thankful. Talking about some training classes we just had. We had a colonel from Fort Eustis here yesterday that did some leadership training. We'll touch base on that today. Then we'll talk a little bit about Juneteenth and 4th of July, some of the larger events we've had over the last couple of weeks. The turnout there. I want to thank the officers for the work that they did and continuing to do. We looked outside before I walked in. It still looks like we got some bad weather out there, Matt. It's still raining a little bit. So please be safe. But I hope this session can be interactive. If you have any questions, it's kind of the opportunity. There's no specific topic. And I meant to share something with the afternoon session. I think time got away from us, so I'll try to bring it up today. Some things that we're talking about here in the media relations office. I already said that Matt's with me tonight, keeping me out of trouble, make sure we don't knock anything off. But I'm excited about being able to spend some time with you. So if you have a question, please submit it, conversation, statement, whatever it might be. If you ask about a specific case, I'll try to share as much as I can, but I don't want to do anything to jeopardize the case in the Commonwealth Attorney's Office or what the detectives are working on. And I'm going to be giving out some thanks today, people that have played a big role in our success this summer, and knock on wood, right? And, from clergy and officers to community members and partners. So very, very, very thankful. I want to say hello to some people here. Let's see, who we got? Joy, thank you. Audio, video, perfect. Joy, thank you. I appreciate that. Ms. Cox, thank you for being with us again. You always support, and we always do have good conversations about police and community relationships. So I appreciate that. Rhea, thanks for being here. Hope all is well. Hope you're enjoying your summer. My friend Devon Kelly, how are you doing, sir? Hope things are going well. Hope you're having a good summer, and I appreciate the partnership and all the work that you do in the community, making a difference. Yeah, it means a lot. And we may even talk a little bit about our outreach outreach, individuals who've been through some things and are giving back. I think you have a great message, and, and bring a different message than we do. But at the end of the day, you have a heart for people, and I just appreciate what you do. Miss Whalen, great, you are on and on time. Anna, Matt hit the button like right at 6 o'clock. We've got 2 good starts today, so I'm feeling a little bit of energy. I'm feeling good. Sounds great and look okay. Great, the lighting is better. My head doesn't shine. Dang, man, what are you talking about? My head doesn't shine. Maybe it was the lights that always made it shine. Maybe I should start wearing a hat or something in here. I don't know. But Miss Whalen, I appreciate you being on. You do a lot with our volunteers. I appreciate that more than you know. It helps out a lot, not only in our recruiting side, but with different events. I got to see maybe we'll talk about a little bit when we talk about training. I got to see the DUI training at the Academy, what was it, last Friday. I went to community Friday Night Nets up in Denby, and then I stopped by the Academy for about an hour. I got to see the recruits doing the DUI training with volunteers that came in and partook a little bit in the alcoholic beverages and allowed officers to practice their nose to hand, all that stuff, walk and turn, one-legged, all that stuff. We testify in court. They're able to do that under close supervision, but it was good training, and I appreciate that. And wait a minute, Matt, we got somebody new here. Maya Tate, got somebody new on here. How about that? Maya, how are you? Haven't talked to you in a little bit. Are you doing okay? I hope things are good. You're doing well, and thanks for joining us. Tell me a little bit about what's going on with you this evening. What are you up to? You ever done a local podcast? Have I ever done a local podcast? So I will tell you, I've had a couple. The ones I've done, though, have been through Zoom. Individual I really got to talk to that talks about health and wellness for officers, mental health and wellness for things that they see, and out in California area. We did about an hour session, and then I had the privilege of working with someone as we talked just about what's going on in policing today, kind of 21st century policing, building relationships with the community. That was a really good session. A lot of good information. I felt I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed both, but local. I've talked to some people, and I think anytime that you're sharing some information and answering questions and concerns, I think that's important. You know, we have a podcast here, Running Code, where we talk to police officers and those type things. So, that's kind of the limit of what I have done. I'm certainly no professional. That's for sure. But I do think it's important to have. I do think it's important to have some open dialogue and try to address some questions, or just have some conversation and share, what's going on with the department, that kind of thing. Maya, nothing, laying down, enjoying rain. Maya, I hear you. It's good resting weather, right? Rain on the tin roof. I hear that. Dave, no problem, my friend. How are you? Not sure I understand that one, Maya. How's your mental king? You got to help me with that. But it's been a good day. Got a lot done today. Talked about some upcoming events and some things we want to do in the media. Talked a little bit about training. So things are going well. Kayla, hey, I was just talking about you. I heard you might have heard some things about your college experience earlier today. But I'm glad you're enjoying where you're at. It's a good school, and like I said, I spent some time in the facility right across the street from you there. Did some about 7-8 months of training there, so you're in a good spot. The Grinch, my friend, how are you? I hope you're having a good summer. Thanks for being here tonight, or this evening, I guess I should say. Robin, it's good to have you back. Good evening, Chief. Thanks again for your service. I appreciate you and the office. It means a lot. Kayla, what do you mean, Kayla? You probably just watched it or you didn't hear it. What are you talking about? You heard. So for others that are on, Kayla and some others here are Ms. Tate. Some others here are part of our Young Adult Police Commissioner program. That's a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior from each high school. 6 high schools, so it should be 24 students, 24 young people that we work with. Somehow we got 40 some. Now, not all 40 make it all the time, but we have 40 that are part of the program. And then we have some presidents and vice presidents and treasurers, secretaries, if you will, and they're just great kids. And we learn a lot from them, and hopefully they learn a little bit from us, but it's great working with them. And then you see them graduate, right? You go to the graduation, see them go off to college, and then you still stay in touch with them. So I think that's special. We tease each other a lot, but I'm glad to hear that a lot of them are doing well. And I'm also looking forward to working with the others when school starts back, and maybe just a couple things this summer, plan some things out. So there's a couple things I want to touch base on. Usually I like to start a little bit with just giving the overview of where we're at crime in the city. That's what we were actually talking about earlier today and then looked at this afternoon. We review crime data, crime information every Monday at a 1 o'clock staff meeting, and then every Thursday at ComStat, and then on the off Thursdays it's an intel briefing. So on the ComStat, it's kind of looking at crime in the big picture in each geographical precinct, each geographical area. And then when we talk about intel, we're looking at individual crimes and individuals who have committed those crimes and what we're doing to address that. Where's our focus at? So we report, just like every other department, sheriff's office, we report data to the FBI, and they put that together and do what's called a national average or a clearance rates about how many cases across the country on an average should be cleared or solved, if you will. So if I was reporting to the FBI today, I would say that our violent crime is down 9%. We're at the same place. So last year was a record year for us. It was a record year low for homicides and a record year low for shootings. I shouldn't say record, or going back through history, but about the last 20 years, it's the lowest we've seen. And we're at the same place today that we were this time last year. And it's hard to keep dropping. There come challenges. So you try to look at different things you can do. I would say we have the same number of homicides this year that we had last year. And last year we had like a 50% reduction from the year before. And 2 years ago we had about 79 non-fatal shootings. Last year we had 58. And this time last year we were sitting right at 33, and we're currently at 33. So how does that happen? Right? We get asked that question a lot. And there's no one answer. There's no crystal ball and poof, it's magic. It is so many different components and pieces. Crime in the city is down overall, but we really try to focus on violent crime, and we really try to focus on gun violence, meaning our homicides and our shootings. So how do we do that, right? So there's our partnerships and different entities that we work with, our social services, our faith leaders, our churches, right? The fire department, the police department, our schools, Centera, Riverside, Mary Immaculate, our Commonwealth Attorney's Office, community outreach, my friend Devon Kelly and others, all the things that they do in the community plays a huge role in what we're trying to do. Stay in constant contact with our mayor, city manager, assistant city manager. We share a lot of information, very much up on where we're at with crime, or perception of crime, make sure that we're at these community events and interacting, and it goes for a long way. Already talked about midnight basketball, or Friday night nets, that's what I was just referring to. Every Friday we have 2 locations in our city, Denby Community Center in the north, Achievable Dream Courts in the south. So I usually go for an hour to the north and then drive down south and spend about an hour down there just interacting, saying hello, watching some good basketball, 3-on-3 games, 3-on-3 little mini tournaments, if you will. I got to see an all-girls team play the other day. I think some of the girls were on basketball teams here in our high school. So it's enjoyable for me. The individuals come out, there's some contests, some giveaways, there's free food at both locations. So I think it's a great thing that the city's done, and I do think that is a big piece in the puzzle as we talk about giving young people something to do and crime reduction. You know, the mayor talks a lot, myself as well, about focusing on youth. And we've been blessed with a great year, a great summer. We've seen really good reductions in crime over the summer, especially in gun-related incidents. I'm very, very thankful. Very, very thankful for that. Tony, Chief, I'm really wanting to know two things. Where is your number one focus right now? And I'm a bit wondering about our homeless almost on every corner. Well, Tony, I do. So my number one focus right now is always going to be violent crime in our city, gun violence. I think uh, putting measures in that, we made good strides. 23 was a hard year for us. We had a record low in 24. We cut homicides by 50%. We cut shootings by about 25, 30%, and we're holding that line right now. So violent crime is always our top priority to reduce violence in our city, especially gun violence. Of the 9 homicides that we've had this year, uh, 8 of those have already been cleared by arrest. There's 1 homicide open. And on top of that, it's not forgetting about past cases. Uh, we solved 5 additional homicides this year that were cold cases or that happened in years past. So we've had 9 homicides. We solved 8 from this year, but a total of 13, so an additional 5 from years past. I think that's important. It doesn't bring anyone back, but it does provide some closure. So that's always our number one focus. Number two, when you talk about homeless on every corner, I probably push back a little bit on that. I don't think we have homeless on every corner, but we do see homeless in areas. My concern is twofold. One, individuals that are homeless, right? And you never know what someone's going through. Some people may just be one paycheck away. Um, or what, I do question and think, talking to individuals, I enjoy those conversations. Like, what happened? How did you get in this situation? Sometimes it's mental illness, sometimes it's loss of a job, sometimes it's lack of ability to afford affordable housing. But I enjoy those conversations. I think Four Oaks is a great entity. I know that Councilman Long is a big champion for what else can we do. I've had a lot of conversations with our city manager, Mr. Archer. Um, I'm also concerned, though, at times about individuals that are homeless and making sure that they're safe in our city. I know in the winter months we have Port. Getting to visit a couple of those last year. One, people that volunteer their time to work there, I think, are amazing. But you just see the number of people that are facing challenges. So that's a hard nut to crack. When I was talking earlier about the different resources that focus on crime, I think homelessness is an issue that all of us play a role in determining, right? Getting to know what the issues are, finding affordable housing, making sure that people are safe, doing the best we can in those areas, and how do we get people back on their feet, whether it's something to do with medication, opportunities, jobs, workforce, right? But it's complex. It didn't happen overnight. And what are those solutions? I'm always interested to read also, Tony, right? Can you go back up? So I'm interested in what other cities are doing, because it is an issue across our country, whether they're 24-hour facilities, whether it's classes or opportunities or locations. But I do worry about individuals that are homeless and the situations that they're in and challenges it causes our community. I see people come to council and we should be doing more, we should be doing more. And I can tell you there's a lot of discussions, but it's a complex, right? It is a complex issue. And I'm just appreciative that we're having conversations, but I am very cognizant of individuals that are homeless. I don't think they're on every corner, but I do think there are several pockets in several locations. And I will tell you, we have some environmental officers who work a lot with the homeless community, and they will tell you there's homeless, like, set up tents in areas that, like, my gosh, how do you even get back there? And I didn't know that even. So we try to interact with them and have some conversations, but it's a very, very complex problem. And I'd like to be part of the solution, but I know I'm not. I'm certainly. It will take multiple things to address the homeless population, providing opportunity and making sure that they're safe. So it's a great point. Yeah, it's just about here. A lot of Councilman Long is a real champion on addressing homeless issues. I think he's done a really good job of bringing that to the forefront. Skip, hello, my friend. Kayla, hope you're doing. Yeah, Skip, but she's doing good, man. I just talked to her on the phone. before I came in. So I hope you're doing well over there in Suffolk. But Kayla, I think, is well, she seemed in really good spirits, so it was good to hear a little bit from her. Mr. Kelly, more than work together, the better we can be. Look, Devon, I couldn't agree more. You should be sitting here, man. You do this. I'll take a break. But no, I think the communication, working together, showing up together. Um, you always have that you've done a lot of town hall meetings, a lot of meetings at churches. One of the favorite things that I see you do is the community day around Easter holiday weekend. Um, I know there's some dispute out there about who the real three-legged race champion is. I think our viewers here know who it is. This stuff about, I can't help it that bands break, and sometimes you got to pick up your partner, and I try to pick a partner who is much quicker than me. So anyway, I know there's some controversy around those races, but for some reason I always seem to. I think I'm still the champion, Devon. I think that I got to defend the title every year. My friend Aubrey might argue that a little bit, but at the end of the day, though, it is a fun event, and you do a great job, and I really appreciate what you do in our community and for our youth especially. Debbie, thank you for your service, and bless the officer trying to make a difference. I know it's not a perfect world. Debbie, you're absolutely right. But I know one thing we can't do is we can't just throw our hands up and say we quit. Right? We may never even get there together. But I think we've got to continue to work and make it, not everybody, we're not going to fix every situation. But I do think we have the opportunity to make some lives better. And seeing that happen in people that are struggling or whatever the situation might be, being able to make an impact on that. I think that's why most people do this job. We're certainly not doing it to get rich. We're not doing it for something to do. Right? It is about service and giving back. And I work with these men and women every day, and I tell you, I'm thankful for them. I'm thankful for people who want to leave their own families, or at least they're willing to, and come and serve other people. And usually when someone dials 911, it's hey, we need help. We need assistance. So I couldn't agree with you more. But I am thankful that we have men and women who are willing to do this job. With that, I will tell you that we just had a graduation not too long ago. We have another class graduating in October. We have another class that just started about 3 weeks ago. We got to go meet and interact with them a little bit. And we're getting ready. Right now we're actually hiring for the class that will start in October. So we're doing pretty good on staffing. We're about 25 officers down. We're close to 484 positions. We're about 25 people short, and our goal is to put 20 in the academy in October. That would only make us five people down. The city's kind of committed to moving us to 500 over the next. Well, this year we've got 12 new positions. So we're only about 16 away. So if we did 8 and 8 the next couple of years, or 10, whatever. Look, I know people retire and people don't get through field training, and some people in the academy, this job's not for me. At our staffing level, we are in a much better place today than we were in 2023, and officers are continuing to come. So I'm very thankful. Our recruiting folks do a phenomenal job, and then they turn those individuals over to our academy to work with for about 7 months, and then another 3 or 4 months of field training. So we're very, very blessed, and I am very, very thankful. The city, giving us those positions, I think backs up their statements and their push on focusing on safety and community safety. Like when we have events, I told them we've got like 4 events coming up in September all in one day. How are we going to staff these events? And the different things that we're doing community-wise. We had 2 large events. Juneteenth, huge event. I thought it was a great success down at Victory Landing. And then we turned right back around 2 weeks later and did the 4th of July. So somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 people at each one of those events. And we had about 100 officers. We had a traffic pattern and safety components, right? We had officers who were able to respond if something, God forbid, were to happen. We had officers inside the crowd working and greeting people as they came in at the front gate. And I thought both events went fantastic. The bands at both events, the fireworks, the headliner on Juneteenth, the vendors that were there, the food trucks, the food was great. And then I was so impressed with how quick we got, once the event was over, people left the park in about 30 to 45 minutes. And that place was emptied out. Traffic was flowing. I thought we had a really good traffic plan. and the officers just did a great job. I got a lot of accolades from citizens that emailed and called in and just talked about how much they loved the event. Council members talked about the officers' interactions. And it was just all the way around. It was just a really, really good, two big events that we had in our city that I thought were really successful. So that's a great point. Devon, thanks so much for being there every year. No, Devon, I wouldn't miss it, man. You know, I tease you, but it's a great event. And you do great stuff, man, and I appreciate that. Tony, thank you. Tony, I appreciate that too, man. It's difficult, it's challenging, but you know, again, I'm thankful for men and women who are willing to do this job. Um, you know, that it is a true heart of service. And look, Matt, despite popular opinion, we don't always get it right. We make mistakes. And we have to be able to say that we're sorry, that we didn't do the best job, or hey, here's something we could do better. When we have our use of force review board, and we have citizens sit on that board to look at our use of force incidents, right? If we deploy a taser, or if we have to wrestle with someone, or restrain someone. Sometimes individuals who are intoxicated don't want to get out of their vehicle. I don't know if anybody's ever tried that, but to pull someone out of a car that doesn't want to come out is challenging. But to have citizens on that use of force review board and work with officers, like, how do we do that better? We just did a round of interviews and promotions and have citizens from our community on those interview panels. I don't want to let it out of the bag, but I just confirmed the president of the NAACP is going to help us with our next round of promotional process. She's going to sit on the panel with me, and that's important, right? I think citizens ask different questions and look at things differently, and I want our individuals in this department who want to be promoted to know that we are going to have interaction with citizens. That is a foundation, and to build those relationships. Crime goes up and down in any city, but the relationships that you have and the friendships that we build in our community and the trust, we were just talking about this earlier today, I should say. It goes a long way. It makes a big difference. So when bad things happen, when critical things happen, a community that you're working with, you can bring calm quickly. You still have to address what happened, what the incident is, but a community there will work with you. I certainly have seen communities who do not have an interaction with their police department. Don't worry about that. It's just one of the lights that timed out. Matt's like a cat, and he's going to move it. Look at that, right? Certainly seen departments that don't have some of those relationships, or some relationships are fractured, and it is harder to deal with critical incidents when they come. So, Tony, we don't always get it right, but we try to be better today than we were yesterday, and we should be better tomorrow than we are today. And I think that comes with training, comes with experience, it comes with technology, greater interaction with our community, specifically our youth, showing up at community events, football games, volleyball games, basketball, boys and girls sports, right? Attending each graduation ceremony, not taking part in it, but being there, just showing up. There's a friend of mine, Mike Coker, who works for the Department of Criminal Justice Services, works for the state, and he oversees our training, and to make sure that our training academy the records are proper and that we're given the state mandate for what's required. And we talk a lot about things, how to build relationships in the community, and he always stresses to me, show up, show up, show up. Dr. Lyons always talks about build relationships, build relationships, build relationships. Church events, I don't want to start naming pastors that we work with, but there's some that just invite us in. Bishop Riddick is like, hey, come out and watch our soccer leagues. I got to do that. I learned I better put a hat on next time. Pastor Swan, we're working at Friday Night Nets down south. Apostle Spells with the conversations we had. We never hang up without him saying a prayer over the department or checking on me and making sure that I'm okay. Pastor Maxwell just got to go to attend his anniversary and got to meet his mom, right, and sit with his family. And just, one of the things he talked about was the relationship that we have with the police department. And so those, Tremaine Johnson, right, Pastor Johnson, it's just, those relationships matter. And there's none more important than the relationship we have with youth. We talk a lot about, I was talking to the assistant city manager today about how things are going in the city center. So on Saturday night, we get some kids that show up. But, we haven't had any issues. Now we're there, right? Kind of like Bourbon Street or Shockoe Bottom and Granby Street. We have our city center area, and I see kids. Sometimes I just kind of sit back and watch. I see kids talking to officers. Sometimes they take pictures together, and shoot their videos. When I don't even want to try and guess what they're called. But when I talk to some of the kids, and why do you choose city center? And they tell me because we feel safe here. They also tell me like they don't want a lot of structure and don't want anybody telling them what to do, but they tell me they feel safe there. And yeah, so Tony, I appreciate that, man. I didn't mean to get off on that, but it's just it really made some really good points, and I appreciate that. Don, in the early '90s, we had a DARE program because of the drug wars. What programs does the police department have for youth who deal with trauma and gun violence, rather witness or being victimized? So I'll tell you, Devon, I think there's a lot of things out there. We don't have the DARE program like we had before traditionally. I remember that when I was a kid as well. That's a little bit before the '90s, right? But we talked about the young adult police commissioners, the basketball program. I think Boys and Girls Club are huge participants in what we're doing to address crime. The number of clubs that we have here on the peninsula, the interactions, Hal and Rob just do an amazing job. And we try to interact a lot with those young people. We do have officers that are assigned to elementary schools by, hey, they're the ones that check in. I don't have an SRO for all 26, 27 elementary schools. We have one in every high school and every middle school. We don't have one in every elementary, but we do have officers who will kind of use that as a point of contact, and they'll check in. But I think that's one thing I would like to see us do more and more is interact with the elementary kids. That's the kids we see a lot in the community plan, interacting, whether they're playing baseball or throwing a football around. I'd like to see us do more. There's a drum corps that just does amazing, but I would like to see us do more. I enjoy going to elementary schools and reading a book. I've had a couple of schools that have invited me to come do that already, and I've learned very quickly. And make sure you pick a book out you're familiar with. One, if you get a word wrong or skip a page, the kids will let you know. So the other benefit is if you let the kids pick the book, you can kind of use them to help actually interact, and they'll read the book to the class as well. So, but those are some of the things. I think there's a lot of after-school programs. I think that Dr. Vreeland and school board members, Dr. Vreeland from Achievable Dream, and Superintendent Mitchell are very, very cognizant of doing things with young people and providing opportunity. And I think we just encourage that and build relationships there. And I think it goes back to what I was saying, is showing up. And again, it can't just be the police department. I'd like to see us in the libraries a little bit more, maybe on Saturdays. I know we have some officers who go read books at libraries, interacting with kids a little bit. I think the more interaction we have, the better relationship we build. And those things are important. Mark, good evening, Chief Drew. Is that the first one or is there one above that? Oh yeah, okay. Good afternoon, Chief Drew. Will you all make us feel good living in Newport News? Wow. It seems during the summer there's an increase in DUI incidents. I've always been concerned about this. What can we do to help the police department and fellow citizens reduce these things? Wow, Mark, I really appreciate that, man. It's a great post, great comment. I'll tell you, we just had a conversation about one of the media outlets. Matt Wright earlier today reached out and talked to us a little bit about. We have a DUI grant where we pay officers overtime to come in at certain times of the year and focus on DUI. The summer is one of those times. We want to make sure people are safe. Traffic accidents, traffic fatalities, DUIs. It's something that I think plagues every city, every department. So it's putting a concerted effort, focusing on some of those areas where we see that. How can individuals help? I think awareness is one, having conversations with family members, with loved ones, those that might enjoy going to parties. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with drinking. But get someone else to drive. I think promoting awareness, or if you see someone, you're driving and you see someone driving reckless, to call the police and let us know in responding. But I think the awareness is that trying to address it on the front end, having conversation with friends, families. Sometimes we'll go to schools and talk about drunk driving, or go to different venues and have those conversations. Just want to make sure that people are safe. One bad accident can, we just had a vigil not too long ago at one of our local high schools where a teenager this summer lost their life. And I saw how that affected, talked to a couple of students who knew her, and saw how that affected people and families. And I can remember back seeing DUI prom nights commercials and vehicles, and I just think it's awareness, and it's not something to shy away from. Talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. So that's one of the reasons. Sometimes people say, "Well, Chief, why do you put out there that you're doing these DUI patrols?" Because I want people to know, right? We're not trying to do it in secret. I want you to know that we're out looking for those individuals that might have had too much to drink and are driving and putting themselves in danger and other people in danger. So we do publicize it, and we do want people to know that we're going to be out there, and to not, well, maybe not this time. What I want is just people to be responsible, to be safe. I don't want to make a phone call to a mother or father. I don't want to make a phone call to a son or daughter. I don't want to I don't like getting the phone calls late at night from our crash investigators that we've had a traffic fatality or there's been a bad accident. And I will tell you, if the fire chief were sitting beside me, he'd tell you the same thing. Sending firemen and paramedics to respond to those incidents. I think you have to address it more on the front end. And then those that do choose that, God forbid, I hope that they're okay, but I wish they would never make that choice in the first place. So I think a lot of it's awareness and having those conversations. Let me go back just a little bit. Is it Kim? Good evening, Chief Drew. Your officers can lie and get away with it. Spent 52 days in jail behind a lying officer. Kim, I'm not sure about the case. If you want to send me your number, I'll be glad to shoot you a call. I'm assuming you were in courtroom for a judge to make that decision. I don't know if it was a judge trial or a jury trial, or trial by judge, I should say, or a jury trial, but I'm not really sure what case you're referring to. So I don't really know how to answer that question. You may disagree with the officer's testimony, but that's very, very different than coming to court and lying to a judge and those type of things. But don't want to dodge a question. I just don't know which case you're referring to. If you want to send me your number, and was it direct message? Is that the right term? I'll be glad to call you as soon as I finish here. Sharon, good evening, Chief Drew. Continued prayers for safety over you and your officers. Sharon, let me just say this. We talked about this a lot in our earlier session. I get calls a lot about citizens, individuals, text messages just say that we're praying for you in the department, praying for our city. That means a lot. We've had some events here where clergy have come with our chaplains to police headquarters and prayed over our citizens, over our city, over the police department, asking for guidance and wisdom. And I'm a man of faith. I believe that. I believe God has truly blessed us in this city. I believe that prayer does make a difference. And so I appreciate you just sending something in that post. That means a lot, and I appreciate that. And it does not go. Some of the best calls I get are from some of the pastors that I mentioned and others who just call to check in and say, "Hey, Chief, we're praying for your department. We're praying for our city. We're praying for our citizens," and that means a lot to me. Is it Kayla next?
She's responding to this.
What is the hi? Thank you. I'm doing well. Oh, okay. Sure. Okay. Got you. Faith. Hey, Chief. Faith, how are you? McKenna, I hope you're doing well. Thanks for being here tonight and logging in. Any community events going on tomorrow, Chief? What's tomorrow? Is tomorrow Wednesday? Yeah, there's one big community event tomorrow. When I finish up here, I'll be going over to Port Warwick. They have the music festivals there from 6 to 9. So I enjoy going over, listening to a little bit of music, walking around, interacting with individuals that are there, teasing some of the individuals, like who's got the best seat under the shade, and some of the music. I've seen some acts. Bobby Blackhat, my friend, right, has been there, but I've seen different bands. It's great music, great atmosphere. I get some handshakes, get to give out some badges to kids, some high fives. I get teased about my dance moves. I don't have any. I can do a good foot tap though. But that's one event that I'm going to be at tomorrow. And then, like we said, we're kind of now that we're past 4th of July. Okay, we're kind of about a two week lull, and then once we get into August, it's all about back to school events. So you'll see those just really kick into high gear once we get into the first week of August. And of course, we got National Night Out coming up in August. I'm excited about that. We're able to go around and view different venues, different communities that have cookouts, lights on, different events, our libraries, churches that are doing different things. So I'm excited about that. Kim, if you really are going to call. Oh, Kim, Matt, is she like saying, "Oh, I'm not going to call"? She don't believe me. Kim, I don't know how often you tune in, but I'll have a lot of individuals that will have a question or something. If I tell you I'm going to call you, I'm going to call you. So, Matt, did you write her number down? I will call you as soon as we log off. But you got to log back on and just send a message. Hey, Chief called. Now you might not agree with things. We might have a different opinion, but I promise I will call you. Joy, with Lyft, Uber, and taxi, no excuse for do. Oh, you know what, Joy? It's a great call. In another way, when was it Tony that asked me what we can do? I think if you see someone, offer to make those calls. Sometimes it's just, thank you for giving me a ride, or give someone a ride. Be careful if you don't know that individual. But man, I would rather somebody give somebody a ride home. Uber, Lyft, taxis, that's a great point, Joy. That's a great point. If people just be smart. You see the commercials all the time. Oh, I'm okay to drive, and then they drop their keys, and they bend over, and they can't pick them up. I just awareness, I think, is huge. Making good choices. It's one of the things that we talk to officers when they start the academy. Is be careful with social media, and be careful about driving and alcohol. Right when you get out of class and go home, that you represent the department. And so it's just you hate to see someone get hurt over a good time and alcohol, or hurt themselves. So Joy, you make great points. A couple things I also want to touch base on. I talked to you about Juneteenth, talked about 4th of July. Matt, let me know if I miss anybody. We had some leadership. This has really been a year we've been focused on training. We had some leadership training yesterday to the chief and the assistant chiefs, the captains. A few lieutenants were there. I think some sergeants were there as well. But we got to sit through about a 3-hour block from Colonel Laura Hutchinson from the Fort Eustis. Have her come in and talk about leadership, and she was really talking about strategic planning, having a plan, putting it into motion, who's accountable for what, tweaking it along the way if things aren't working, to revisit that, and just to hear from a different perspective. She talked a lot about accountability. I thought it was great training. We have a strong MOU with Fort Eustis, some great partners. But for her to come in, and I know, my gosh, I can only imagine how busy she is, but to spend 3 hours with us and just talk about leadership, and she talked about challenges she's faced in her career, challenges that the Army faces, and one of the questions I asked was, what keeps you up at night? I get asked that question a lot. I talk to other chiefs in the region. What keeps you up? And it's kind of the same for her, that she's concerned about soldiers that are under her command and civilians who work for her, to make sure that they're safe, that services are provided, that families are taken care of, and again, sworn individuals who are willing to fight for this country. And so just to hear how she gets through that and challenges, and that, hey, look, she's had setbacks, and how she persevered and continued to move forward. I just really, really enjoyed it. I think the folks who were in the class did too. I had a lot of people come up afterwards like, Chief, that's the type of training we need. And our assistant city manager, Bo Clayton, attended that training with us. And, we talked a little bit. We actually talked last night. I was just very, very thankful. It was exactly what I was looking for. And we're doing that more. We're bringing in some people from the outside. Coach K from CNU came in and did a segment on team building, leadership angle from that, bringing different players from around the country to come with a common goal, and what they do for the school, what they do on a team, and how you address certain attitudes and behaviors and conform. And it was just, man, it was just, I enjoy that. We're going to have some training from our chaplains. Our city manager and assistant city manager are going to do a segment for us. We have an individual that's going to come in and talk about emotional intelligence. And then my friend, we're still trying to pin the date down. So she's watching. I know she has a new addition to her family. I'm glad everybody's healthy, but we're trying to get Dr. Lyons in. She's very much sought after in our area. I'd like her to do a segment on the importance of building leaders behind us. When we're gone, who takes our place, and making sure that we're investing the experience that we have into other people, right? And that we don't have that void. Perfect example. On Friday, my friend Morgan Tegens, who spent over 35 years in this department, he's going to retire, and we're having his ceremony on Friday. It's open to the community and the public here at police headquarters. But you'll hear a lot of people get up and give some testimony of the relationship. Morgan left his footprints all over this department, all over this community. His last assignment was the captain of communications, working with a lot of civilians. I think dispatchers have one of the hardest jobs in law enforcement, the true first responders, if you will, in my opinion. But 35 years, and Morgan has not only been a great captain, but he's also been a great friend. Conversations that we've had, I've had dinner with his family. And when I talked to Morgan, it's like, is this the right time? He's like, yeah, Chief, I want to spend time with my mom and dad and my family there. And I was like, man, that's 35 years, you deserve it. So I wish him all the best. But the good news is he is going to stay on with us to do, I hope you've seen our podcast, Running Code. So he's one of the hosts, if you will, he and Lieutenant Morgan. And he's willing to stay on and do that for a while. So he's a big personality on the show, and it's if you haven't seen it, you can log in and see it on our Facebook or YouTube page. But it's really some good stuff from Morgan, and there'll be a lot of people who come out on Friday. Hear some good stories. He's done a lot for our community, a lot for this department, a lot for me, and one of the first individuals that I sat down and talked with when I came to Newport News, and just very blessed to know him. And he's made our department and our community better, and so we're going to celebrate him on Friday. Ms. Ramos, good evening, Chief Drew. Just want to let you know we appreciate you, and well, Ms. Ramos, I greatly appreciate that. That post means a lot. Let me say this: I said the same thing earlier today. On the stuff we fail at, I'll take that on me. The good things that we do, all the credit go to the men and women who do this job. And I mean the dispatchers, the civilians who work in records behind the scenes, our crime analysts, our detectives, our supervision out on the street in our different divisions, our narcotics side of the house, fugitive, our SWAT team, patrolling day in and day out, right? Monday through Monday. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week that they're responding to calls, and when the calls aren't being broadcast, that they're in the communities interacting and trying to keep tensions down, right? I think we've seen that showing up at events that they do. So what I'm saying is the credit goes to the men and women who do this job day in and day out. I am thankful to be the chief here. I am humbled by being able to work with such great people. I see the work that they do. I see the long hours they put in. They respond to things I wish no one ever had to respond to. And then to go home and hopefully get a good sleep and come back and do the same thing again tomorrow. They're very, very special people. And just like in our military and other areas of service, the people that put others first, it means a lot. And I don't take that lightly. I'm very, very thankful for the men and women that we have in this organization that I'm able to work with. And that's what we've been in two different organizations now, and that's what I see. To deal with some things where we don't pick a political side. Our job is to keep the peace, to serve citizens, to hold people accountable for crimes that they commit against other people, and try to serve the citizens and quality of life the best we can in our community. Tony, Chief, it's about time for school to start. Your folks do great with welcoming the kids back to school. Oh, you know about that, right? The first week of school, opening day I call it, like baseball opening day. It's a same thing at school, opening day for schools. Uh, with Newport News Public School plant service, we see situations we're not sure to get involved with without stepping on toes. Can you give general guidance? I'm plant service, and we're not sure. So, Tony, when you say situations, I think if anything happens and you're not sure, I think the first thing is to make a phone call. I don't think anyone's going to get upset or concerned if you see someone in danger and you take action. But if you're unsure, hey, speed, calls that we get. There's an individual driving or speeding through a school zone. There's someone walking around the school, is on the property. Could be someone that's delivering something. Could be a parent. But if you're unsure, just put those phone calls in. We have a great working relationship with Dr. Mitchell, superintendent. I also feel we have a great working relationship with the school board. So yeah, I think those things. Feel free to call the schools and let them know if you see something or hear something. We get social media tips all the time about individuals who posted something, and 9 times out of 10 they're absolutely nothing. But we live in a different world today, and you can't. Oh, it's just somebody spouting off. So every one of those posts that talk about anything with school violence, anybody going to hurt anybody at school, we investigate that to the fullest. We work with our Commonwealth attorney, and some individuals are brought up on charges. Sometimes it's a conversation with mom and dad. So I would say anything that you're concerned about, feel free to reach out to emergency services, police department, fire department, schools itself. We do have an SRO at every high school and every middle school. Newport News is linear, so we have 3 precincts, north, central, and south. So when school starts back, we'll be out there the first week, shaking hands, giving some high fives. Done that at Jenkins Elementary, Crittenton, also at Rich Neck. It's a great point. So don't ever feel like you're bothering anyone or should we get involved or not. If you're unsure, I'd say the first call would always be to make a phone call, right? To let someone know. That goes a long way. And Newport News police are very good. What is in MPD's position in regards to ICE and detention of immigrants? It's a great question. There's some good questions tonight, Matt. So let me tell you where we are in the Newport News Police Department. I'm not going to give you on detention of immigrants. I'm going to tell you what role the police department does. So on the police side, we started to see things ramp up earlier this year, really around February. I reached out to immigration and asked them, could we have a meeting with them? And I felt like they were very impressed that we reached out to them. And they said, hey, Chief, we will come to you all. So they came to police headquarters. I had my several captains and assistant chiefs in the room, and we just had some conversations. And trying to understand what they were doing, the individuals that were here illegally, and primarily those that had a violent past. So again, this is the conversation we had. The violent past that had warrants on file or that were wanted. And I said, well, look, and I've shared this with, really I want to go to some of the churches in our communities to speak to, because I know people are concerned. So what I asked from immigration was, anytime that you're in the city of Newport News, to please call us and let us know. Give us a heads up notice. And why do I want that? Because I shared with them, we are not going to interfere, but we're also not going to take part. But I want to know when you're in our city. Why? So if there's an immigration situation and something were to be citizen calls and there's some fight erupts, or God forbid there's some gunfire that exchanged between an individual and an agent, and some citizen across the street calls and says, hey, we need the police here, I don't want officers driving in and not knowing what they're dealing with. So I would like to know when they're here, and I will tell you they have been very, very good at honoring that request. But you're not going to see Newport News patches, uniforms involved in any type of immigration. We're going to leave that to immigration. There have been entities that have called and said, Chief, an individual came here and was looking for this individual, and we're not really sure what to do. And we've had some good phone conversations, and I've been able to reach out to ICE agents or immigration as well, and get an understanding of what they're doing. One of the first ones I remember was there was an individual that had been coming to Newport News and other cities in the area, had been staying at some of the facilities that had some homeless issues, and he had made threats against the president, against blowing up a school, and doing shootings in the area. And they went to a facility here. They didn't make entry, but they asked, has this individual been here? We're trying to locate him. And so I got some calls about that, had some really good three-way conversation. Long story short, he was found across the water and picked up, and immigration called and notified me that that individual had been arrested. So with that, I was able to call a couple locations where they had been to visit and put some people at ease about this is why they had been there and the individual was arrested and shouldn't come back asking for that. My friend, that's kind of the best I can give you is that we do have open lines of communication. We're not interfering, and we're not partaking. I do like to know when they're here. I want the officers to know who patrol certain areas. I've been very open with our citizens that if you're unsure, that if it is immigration, you feel free to call the police department. I feel very comfortable picking up the phone and calling agents here or agents, their leadership, and having conversations. And I think that goes a long way. So I hope that answers your question. Our position is open lines of communication, not interfering but not partaking, but the ability to respond, knowing when they're in our city and where they're at, God forbid in case something were to happen that we could respond and make sure that people are safe. So I hope that answers your question. I don't want to get into the political side on detention and the immigrant issue there. I have had some recent conversations with our sheriff, Sheriff Morgan. We have some good lines of communication there. So hope that answers your question. Able to meet groups and have open conversations, phone calls. Here's some questions to ask if people are uncertain. What documents would need to be provided. But I've talked with schools. I've talked with Dr. Mitchell about this same issue. And they would not be entering schools and those type of facilities unless there was immediate danger, right? If there was like something that harm children. But we would respond with that as well. So I just wanted I hope that answers your question the best. Just trying to be open and transparent as we can, and I did have some conversations with our city leadership early on. But like I said, I reached out and asked for that meeting, and I took it that they were sort of impressed that we reached out to them and they came here and met with us. So we had some really good conversation and had some of that back and forth. So I hope that helps. Sharon, is that a clap? So that's a good thing, right? Well, Sharon, I hope so. I hope the clap is, hey, Chief, you answered the question well, but I don't want to dodge. I want to be very open and transparent about what we're doing. Robin, God bless you all. Stay safe. Robin, please be safe. Thank you. I know we're getting up on time. I do want to tell you that our clearance rates are doing very well. I talked about crime in our city. Violent crime is down 9%. Our shootings and homicides are right where they were last year, and that's coming off a 15, 20-year low compared to what we were in 23. We reduced our homicides by 50%. We're at that same level now, and we reduced our shootings last year by about 25%. And when I say shootings, non-fatal, shot in the arm, shot in the leg. Our clearance rates are above the FBI national average in every single category, as well above the national average for cities our size. So this year, the FBI broke it down into there's a national clearance rate overall, and then there's small cities, mid-size, and large cities. Large are like Los Angeles, Detroit, Chicago, right? We are in a mid-sized city with our population, and our clearance rates in every category. Homicide, rape, robbery, burglary, auto theft. Clearance rates meaning cases cleared, arrests made, solved. We are above that national average in every single category. We were kind of teetering on the line with auto theft and larcenies, and we've been able to push that even higher. I give a lot of credit that to technology and citizen engagement. I want to talk to you about training, right? We talked a lot about technology and training, and we recently purchased what's called a Virtra system for individuals that are on here. Sharon, thank you. I got it. I appreciate that. I just wanted to make sure I understood that picture emoji, if you will. So thank you. But if there's any prior law enforcement here that have been around for a while, it used to be the FATS machine, right? It was kind of like one screen and you could go through role playing. Well, this Virtra system, you kind of walk into it, and it's 5 or 6 screens, and you can do up to 1, 2, or 4 officers at one time, and it puts you in real life scenario. And some individuals, I will just tell you, being open, some say, well, Chief, this is just like a big video game. So I hear that until you go through the scenario. And if you put your hand on someone's heart who's just finished going through a scenario, and you get this going, that's not a game. Right? That's not a game. It shows you where every round goes that you fire. It works with you on de-escalation. I just went through some scenarios with Officer Call and Officer Hanrahan last week after I met with the recruit class. Just did some target shooting and then some scenarios. And you can change it and mix it up. And if an officer isn't engaging, the instructors can make the individual more aggressive. So I think it's great training. We're going to use that for our recruits. We're going to use it for in-service. We're going to use it for veteran officers. We're going to use it for citizens, right? Our Citizens Academy and volunteers. Sometimes we get individuals who talk about, why can't you just shoot the gun out of their hand or hit somebody in the pinky toe, right? And we're going to show you how difficult that is. We don't shoot, when we use deadly force, we're not using that to wing someone, right? We're doing it to protect life, and there's a high standard for that. But I think that training simulator is called the Virtra system. We are not the first department to have it, but we have it in our community, in our city now. We're going to use it with our citizens and our officers. It's going to be for some team building as well. But I want individuals to come and experience that. So the church group, faith leaders, we're even going to set a goal for how many civilian we want to go through the process and get a part of that, hear a little bit about it and how it makes us better. We're going to be doing, right, I don't know if I should put it out there, but we're going to be doing some training with the NAACP, and I want them to see this system. But Jennifer Brooks and the NAACP are great partners. We have a great, Pastor Maxwell was the president, and now Ms. Brooks, who serves on our Use of Force Review Board. Just had a conversation with her. She's actually going to help with some interviews we have coming up for the selection of lieutenant. But to go through that, we've had really good relationships, and I just want to make the department open and transparent to other entities, right, and see what we do and why we do it. So I'm looking forward to that. We talked about TJN's retirement. It's important to me. We've had some great things going on this summer. We have strong partnerships with our federal partners, with the state police as well. They've been working with us since May. So we have a small component of state troopers that are with us May, June, July, and August. I think that's been a big help. And we really look at, why are we seeing some of these reductions? Now, I say all that not knowing what's going to happen tonight, don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I'm looking right now, we're midway, just a little bit past midway through the year, midway through the summer, and we've been very, very blessed. And there's a lot of reasons. There's not just one. Chief, what's the result? How are we reducing crime? There are multiple pieces to that puzzle. There's not just one fit. It is a conglomerate of multiple resources, and partnerships, and relationships, and accountability, and structure, right? Focusing on violent offenders, putting officers in the right place at the right time, solving cases, responding to shootings just like they were a homicide, pushing the arrests that we don't have retaliation, that we're able to get the individuals accountable for that before other people go looking for someone who did something to their friends, addressing things on social media. My friends like Devon Kelly that doing work in the street, having conversations with Sunithia about different strategies and ideas. Those things are all play a role, are important, and it's not just one thing. Sharon, every time I see you at an event, I ask you if you know who I am. So do you? Sharon, absolutely. And I didn't know what that emoji was right away. I had to make mad. That's a clap, right? So yes, ma'am, I do. And I appreciate you being here tonight. And you do. It's funny. You do come up and ask me, like, do you know who I am? Now, sometimes you look a little different, but I do. And I think citizens should go through the Citizens Police Academy first. First, like before what?
Probably for the simulator, I'm thinking.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you, Anna. For me, I can look at it both ways. I do want the Citizens Academy to go through it, but some people may not be able to commit that time. So we're going to offer it to different groups, faith leaders, church groups. If city council members, school board members want to go through and they can't dedicate the time, I understand that, but I want to make that at least an option. I think we trained six individuals at the training academy. I think we have 6 instructors. But like I said, I got to go through it just the other day, and it was something that I wanted here for the community, for officers, and for training. So I want to at least offer it. So Matt, we're at 7:05. What happened? Man, it's been a good session. Joy says, I did back in 1994, and I learned much. I think it was the 4th. Joy, you went through like the class number 4. Well, I'll tell you, Monica White does a great job with our Citizens Academy, Anna Whalen with our volunteers and our Citizens Alumni, CP, AAA, and not to mention the different groups that we're working with this summer, the different summer camps that we've had. There's been Virginia Rules, drone camp that's getting ready to come up, young ladies, part of that with the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, Citizens Academy for Youth, just a lot of different things. Building those relationships that really matter. So I'm not going to hold anybody up longer. I appreciate time tonight, interacting. Joy, thank you. Yeah, just thanks for spending some time with me. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for allowing me to share a little bit about the department and things that we're doing as we go forward. Our next academy class graduates in October. Our next academy class starts in October. You put in a lot of work, but it's important. Like I said, our staffing is much better today than it was in 2023. That was a hard year for us. We got back and made some huge reductions in 24, and I'd like to see them continue on through 25. So I appreciate again the time tonight. I want to thank the officers, men and women who do this job day in and day out. Police Foundation, who make a lot of things possible for us, raise money, donations. We've got a softball tournament coming up in October. Matt, you can remind me to talk about that in our next session, but I'm excited about that. And I just appreciate you. So enjoy the summer, be safe, care for the weather, drink lots of water. Thank you, officers and civilian employees here at the department, of what you do day in and day out. And first thing I do when I log off here is I'm going to call Kim and have a quick conversation. So God bless, thank you, and we'll do this again in August. Take care.